welcome to my channel, AB Make It Artwork, where we do what we do to make that artwork for you. And I'd like to welcome you to vlog day 26 of the Sketchbook Slam Challenge and Inktober. If you're new to this channel, new to this series, then you should know that this is a log update series of my 20-page progress for the Sketchbook Slam Challenge and Inktober. I try to do them in 20-page increments because if I go for any more, the video tends to be outrageously long, and I like to keep them in 10-minute bite-sized bits. Also, if you happen to be new to this channel, maybe hit that subscribe button, join the AB Creative Crew, where we do sketchy art things and just talk about our days with all spooky stuff in the world. And for this video, there won't be a speed draw and there won't be a story time, but it's because I want to kind of give a helpful tip that I kind of figured out for refilling some of my brush pens. But I'll save that for the end of the video. And that all being said, let's get on with the tour of the log day. So I started off my day trying out different jewelry and different ratios of jewelry for ears, and I feel like today I might look up some actual jewelry, maybe get some terminology. In the back of my head I know what this kind of bar is called in the ear for piercings, but right now I can't remember it. So I'm thinking about doing some more jewelry kind of study drawings, but these were all from my head, and that was fun. A really rough sketch of Squeak. The blind Squeak was from the official prompt list for Inktober, and the story with Squeak is that she's a girl, she's blind, and she has a little mouse familiar with whom she is friends with, and her mouse familiar helps her to kind of echolocate and figure out where she's at in a room, and is kind of like a seeing eye mouse. And what her little mouse does is he scurries ahead of her and he'll make little squeaks for her to say here, here, to help her around to get around the house. And that's some of the cute little backstory. And I decided that for Halloween, she wanted to dress up as a mouse, and so she painted up mousy lips. And she usually keeps her hair in a bun like this. I just thought, ah, cute. Super cute. Scribble pages. I think I was initially going to try to draw a witch, but then I was like, let's try something different. And it ended up being a woman's face. I just went crazy with my pink pen, which I think I've killed that pink ballpoint pen at this point. And this is just a really poofy outfit. I don't know where I was going with it. When in doubt, just draw hands. I don't know. These are pretty poor, but it might just be that I'm just kind of coasting out by this point. Not thinking too hard on the sketches like I used to in the past. I like this park bench scene. I like the tree in the background. Might have been one of the things that helped kill my pen. Loosely inspired by Akira. I forgot to post any of these pages yesterday, but I don't know, I didn't feel like it was good enough to post. This was an alright one. I don't know, it was a lot of different ideas that were going on. I was watching a video on what's the difference for Blade Runner, which I guess, do androids have electric dreams of blue sheep? I think was the original title. I don't know, I probably butchered it. Here's some more drawings of Squeak and her mouse. When she lets her hair down, it's pretty wavy. I think it's probably about, well, past the shoulders, almost mid-back. if you actually took her hair down. And it's really wavy since most of the time she keeps it in these very rounded buns. And then just playing with poses and the idea that she dressed up as a witch for 1 year of Halloween. Their little mousy familiar. And so cute. Then I did these little circle heads, and sometimes I'll just do a bunch of circles and I'll figure out different hairstyles. And I also wanted to do some hats or head accessories. And I'm not sure, I may go and make more circle heads and actually look at hat references and head accessories, as well as other hairstyles, and mix and match the two. Because this was kind of a fun spread of different hairs and hats. Oh, this is a page that has to deal with refilling my brush pens. And like I said, I'm going to save that kind of quick tutorial explanation for the very end. And, which we're not too far from the end. We've only got like a few more pages to go. This is just random cans and loosely inspired Little Nightmares character. Poorly drawn cup. Just random things around the house. A really large mouse. A cute little furry. Little furry. These are imaginary skulls. Didn't use a reference, so they don't look too true to anything. And some witch paraphernalia. Because why not? I mean, I know enough. Well, I know basics, like chalice is for water element, pentacle for earth element, dagger for air element, and wand for fire, but sometimes they're interchangeable. Yeah, some Wiccan-y knowledge for you. The more you know. And this is the last page. I decided to draw some baking paraphernalia, and I don't know, that's just kind of where I ended it because I was thinking about cookies. And yeah, I drew some peanut butter cookies and some chocolate chip cookies. And I think I'll get on with explaining how I refilled my brush pens. Which, these are a couple of the brush pens that I have, aside from some watercolor pens that I just fill with ink. And the thing about these, like, they recently died on me, so I had to refill them. This one unscrews backward, so righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. And this one screws lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. And the thing with the brush pens is that if you look here, it's kind of hard. Like, it's a little tiny hole. So if you were to try to fill it with a little dropper, which I do have a little eyedropper that I reserve for art purposes to refill my watercolor brush pens, but it's not as easy to do so with these kind of brush pens. So it's this kind of ink that I use to refill them, which this ink is actually pretty similar to what was in this. This one had a gel ink that was easily water soluble, so I'm not too disgruntled or worried about changing it with this ink. And you kind of have to have like a jar or just some container to put a bit of the ink in. You then have to unscrew your brush pen. You have to stick it in the ink, and kind of like an eyedropper, you have to squeeze it and then let it fill up with ink. And I'm not going to squeeze it right now because it does have ink in it, since I did go and refill it, and you can kind of hear it slosh around if you shake them close to your ear. And I just figured that was kind of a helpful little tip. You can put ink washes in your watercolor brush pens. And I like to do that because it makes it just an ink brush pen. And there are some concerns that if you leave the brush tip exposed, it'll dry up. But that can be easily remedied under a faucet of warm water. So if that was any concerns that you had for watercolor pens, that's a way to fix the one problem. If it gets dried on, it just rinses off. But I will say that if you decide to convert your watercolor pen to a brush pen, don't expect to be able to go back from that, especially depending on what type of ink you use. Like for instance, originally I had this kind of gel ink that was more for stamp pads, not really for drawing with, but it's such a rich black pigment that I really love it and I want to try using it for more things and experiment with it more, but I just kind of got to be patient with that. So you may just have to reserve that watercolor pen for just being an ink wash pen. Some people will just fill the reservoir with just water and then dip it into different ink solutions in which there's various amounts of ink to water ratios, and they'll just work with that. And that's a very viable way of using your watercolor brush pen as an inking tool. But I guess if you want me to go more in depth with that, that's another day, another video, so that I can help you guys do what you do to make that artwork for you. Keep it spooky, everyone. Stay safe. And share this video with your friends, share it with your family, share it with that one coworker that just won't shut up about their favorite series. And yeah, lots of love to my little ghost and ghoulies. Bye.